there are times in communication that you, even in the case, well, obviously a written communication, you decide word for word what you want to say, but when you talk about oral communication, a lot of it is off of notes, extemporaneous speaking. But there are times when, in my opinion, you want a prepared text. You want to make sure, even though it may not be as effective in people feeling good and really connecting, if that message is going beyond just the folks listening initially, it's really important that the words you share are exactly the words you want to share, rather than doing it just from notes or off the cuff. And one of my examples, one of my experiences that drove this point home more for me than anything else, I was governor the same time Bill Clinton was governor of Arkansas. And he was the Democratic governor that followed me. There was a Republican in between as chairman of the National Governors Association. We both were invited in December of 1986 to go to Taiwan and talk to the Taiwan American Economic Conference. And I remember very clearly that my staff worked with my presentation in great depth. We actually cleared it with the State Department, knowing how sensitive what we would say in Taiwan, because in 1986 I had done a number of things with the People's Republic of China, trying to advance economic development. So the words I shared in Taiwan, I had to remember the audience was much larger, that I certainly wanted to address the challenges, but do them in an appropriate way that didn't set off some very serious problems. So we worked in depth on a prepared text. Governor, then at the time, Governor Clinton and I are flying over together. And one of the things I raised going over, I said, Bill, maybe we should share our prepared text. We're both going to be speaking on the same program. Maybe there's something we ought to know in advance so we acknowledge each other's comments, so it looks like we're two governors somewhat sharing a similar message with this conference. And his response was, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to say. Well, he's as capable a person as I've ever dealt with. And I wasn't real worried that he was going to cause anything really a serious problem. But I made the comment to him at the time, because I thought a lot of him. I said, you know, someday you're going to run for president, and you might just get elected, and you ought to, as governor, be practicing using prepared text. So you're in a much better position, because when you're president, every word is overanalyzed and scrutinized and whatever. So any careless use of the wrong word can be a real problem. Well, we went to Taiwan. Everything worked out fine. Had a great trip. Time goes by. He is elected president. He invites all of his former colleagues to have a lunch in the Jefferson Building with the Library of Congress. And that morning, before that luncheon, he had gone to Georgetown to give a foreign policy speech. He hadn't been sworn in yet. This was a couple days before the swearing in, but Georgetown had wanted him to make these remarks. Well, he got himself in trouble because he did it off the cuff, and press was really pushing back. So at this luncheon, as he was going around, and this is like 4 years later, after our trip to Taiwan, when he comes to our table, he looks at me and he says, Carlin, I should have listened to you. I should have had prepared remarks this morning when I talked on foreign policy at Georgetown. I share it as an example, an experience I had, but there are times for leaders, period, when you need to choose your words and get them down, and yes, how you use those notes, yes, but make sure the words that have been chosen, that are going to be communicated orally, that you've got that framing down uh, in the way, and then you use those words. Because there will be times in business, in organization, whatever, maybe a real short paragraph, but you want the right words shared. And so I believe in prepared remarks for certain situations when every word makes a real difference.